Hello, my name is Brad McIntyre, and welcome to the Cultivated Playwright podcast. For this first episode, I am kind of making it sort of an introduction. I kind of vacillated back and forth of whether I wanted to put together a podcast on my own. I'm part of a podcast called Bike Soccer Jamboree with my very good friend Jeff Hernandez, and we've been going for the last couple of years, and I find it very rewarding, but sometimes we take long stretches. We're currently on a hiatus at the moment, and we don't get together and record podcasts because well, sometimes life gets busy for one or the both of us. Also, that podcast is kind of, it's about pop culture and our friendship, and it just has a different perspective than what I hope to concentrate on in this particular podcast. So, what I'd like to do is lay down sort of a backstory of how I got this idea for this particular podcast and tell you what I kind of hope to achieve over, however many episodes I end up doing of this. First of all, a little bit about myself. My name is Brad McIntyre. I am based in Dallas, Texas. Grew up around the North Texas area in the suburbs of Dallas. Have lived all over the place. I lived in Hong Kong when I was a little bit younger. I lived in London. I lived in New York. I went to school out in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I like to travel. And actually travel is one of the things that I hope to kind of talk about in this podcast. I am in my early 40s, and I'm a theater artist. I'm also an educator. I joke with people that I've chosen two fields that have very little market value in today's culture. If you are a teacher or you are in the theater, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, I feel that I'm at sort of a mid-career point, early mid-career point. I have under my belt a very short string of successes, maybe a longer string of near misses and creative failures. I have hopefully a long road ahead of me putting together more plays and works for the theater. I started when I was a kid as a visual artist. I like to draw cartoons. I was a cartoonist. I flirted with going into graphic design a little bit when I was in college, but I got a scholarship for the theater, and so I studied theater, and that paid for college. I kind of got bit by the bug, and I started out as an actor, and then moved to playwriting, and eventually started my own theater. So now I produce and direct, and am an all-around, quote-unquote, man of the theater. Anyway, I think that I have a unique perspective because I am one of these artists in the United States who is not a household name. I'm barely a name in my own city. But I've been doing it for about 20 some odd years, studying the theater and working in the field. I've chiseled out my own little path, and as people in the arts might know, there's no if you're not an artist, you might not quite get it, but if you are in the arts in any way, you will understand. There's no path laid out. There's no corporate ladder. There's no set hierarchy of get to this, get to this, get to this, get to this. Every artist, whether they are a dancer or a painter or a playwright like myself, fiction writer, what have you, each person has to pretty much make up their own path to success, and each person has to define what they personally feel success is for them. There's the wider kind of category of success, the wider concept of success, which in this country means either fame and notoriety or, of course, financial success. I am open to financial success. I'm not necessarily concerned with fame and notoriety, but like all artists, I am I am anxious to be recognized, especially by my peers and my colleagues in the field, and to foster an audience for my work. I've called this podcast the Cultivated Playwright, and I'm doing this for two reasons, because there's two words in the title. First of all, the word playwright is it's spelled play W-R-I-G-H-T, not W-R-I-T-E. And the word right is an old English word, and it means to build, to make. So the word playwright literally translates to maker of plays, or you can broaden that to maker of theater. So I think this encompasses what I do. I make original works for the stage. I do solo performance. I write plays with multiple characters for an ensemble cast. Sometimes I direct outside plays. But I think I'm a playwright in the original sense of the word, as in a creator of works for the stage. So that has with it a bunch of different kinds of concerns that come along with it. The life of an artist in contemporary America, especially one in the theater, and the theater is it's unique for contemporary cultural consumers. The theater it's like dance or maybe sculpting or something. You have to actually experience it. And I'll be talking about the nature of theater as these podcasts go on, and how it kind of differs from other mediums. It can't be digitalized. You can download a song or download a movie or pull up a picture of a two-dimensional artwork. You can't do that with the theater. The audience and the artist both have to be in the same place at the same time, and it unfolds in real time. So it's a unique art form, and it wasn't always unique. It's just unique nowadays. And so it brings with it certain parameters and certain challenges for a contemporary artist. So playwright is a purposeful word, and the other word in the title is cultivated. And now that I've reached my 40s, I have, I guess like many people, I have put in a great deal of consideration about how I have been living and how I want to be living. How I want to be living as an artist, and what I want to achieve, but also just how I want to live my life, how I want to enjoy the world and experience the people around me. And I hope to kind of explore that as well. Over the last year and a half, I have been streamlining my environment. I have been downloading and ripping all of my music, ripping all of my movies, both DVDs and VHS movies, so they're digitalized. I scanned all of my correspondence, and I've begun selling things on Craigslist and on Amazon, and just trying to rid myself of excess baggage and make my environment, my daily life, much more fluid, much more streamlined. I can't remember where I heard it, but it might have been on another podcast, and I wish I could remember where I heard it. But somebody said their goal was to make everything reset for each day, meaning they got up each day and every day started from scratch. They didn't have any holdovers that they had to take care of from the previous day. And this could be something small, like there's no dishes left in the sink, there's no laundry to have to put away. but it could be they got to an actual stopping point in a task that they were working on, or they were working on a project and they chose to stop where they stopped so they could pick it up again. They didn't just run out of time. And I'm at a particular point in my life where time is definitely a premium for me. It is very, very important. My wife and I just had our first kiddo, and he's a wonderful little bundle of energy. He's a little over 8 months when I'm starting this podcast, and for those of you that are parents, you know, kids take up a lot of time and energy and love, and my kid's not unique in this, and I'm finding time is a premium to get done what I want to get done and keep moving forward. I have to really, really curate what I allow in my life and what I choose to do to move forward. So when I say the cultivated playwright, I'm meaning a very purposeful life, a very, very well-chosen, well-lived existence. I'm trying to figure that out as I go along, so I'm hoping that that journey is part of this podcast as well. On top of that, I'll be, talking about things that pertain to daily life, not just my environment, but movies and television and design and technology and travel and maybe the business side of being an artist. Nowadays, an artist is expected to be way more entrepreneurial than generations past, and it's just part of the package. It's not necessarily an option. You just have to kind of adopt it in order to move forward nowadays. So anyway, that's the rundown, and I really appreciate you listening. If you want to check me out online, you can find me at bradmcintyre.com. That's my website, and there's links to my Instagram and my Tumblr and Facebook page and social media of all sorts there on that website. Or you can look me up on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel as well. My YouTube handle is Dribblefunk, all one word, DRIBBLEFUNK. And you can see some videos that I've made. I'm trying to get that up and rolling again as well. But I really appreciate you coming along on this little podcast journey with me. As I as I venture into my midlife, and I try to figure out, what I'm up to and how to progress, both as an artist, as a father, as a man, as just a guy. I'm not a professional at this. I don't claim to be a podcast pro. I'm just a guy trying to figure it out and trying to live a better life. So really, I appreciate you listening, and that's it. Have a good day.